I had a great childhood. I loved my childhood. It was filled with color, fun times, games. Particularly, I enjoyed the games we played with my friends. I adored my father, and I cherished my siblings. I grew up in Eastlands, Islando, as it may be called in Nairobi, in a house, one-bedroom house, 18 of us. I am the 13th sibling. My dad, Mzee Joseph Owiti, and my 3 moms all lived in that small space. And it was fun. The kind of entertainment we'd have was disco matanga, where we would go and dance a little bit because we wanted to compete with our friends to see who's the best dancer. I also enjoyed police and robbers. And if there was anything to do with police and robbers, I was the robber, anytime. I enjoyed being the robber because I was small. I've always been small. And I was very fast. So that in any panya route, I was always going to be the first person to get in and never caught. When I was playing with my friends, I would enjoy wrestling because there it meant that I had to hit someone and run before they actually catch up with me. In Eastlands, we were covered with crime. At that time, it was hardcore. And being a small person as I was, it was very hard for me to actually be able to man up like everyone else, because the people who are man up, if you see people from Eastlands, many of them are muscular. They are big people. And me, I was not this person. So I figured, in this Eastlands, for me to survive, I had to be smart. What in the streets we called mjanja. In being mjanja, I made friends. Good friends, and they were nice. Bad friends, they were amazing. I enjoy the bad friends because they will show me what to do when things happen. It was so good that at times when these bad friends were with me, they would be like, "Do you want to smoke?" At age 8, 9, 10, I was already introduced to bang. My friends were smoking bang. I did not smoke. I was very curious at first. At night, we would hear the sound of screaming men and women in the night, either crying for help or they've been mugged. Eastlands at that time was filled with muggings, house break-ins, rapists. It was everywhere. And for us young people, teenage pregnancies was one of the things we could contribute at that time. Now, in this scenario, in Eastlands, we feared the police. In fact, in the night, if I would walk with my friends in the night, and that is 7, 7:30, and you see a group of people coming to you, you would run. Run because you never know. The police and the thugs were one and the same thing. Run for your life. And in this running, many of my friends lost their lives. It is from this point that me trying to be able to figure out how can I survive in this hardcore environment, I became a mischief in the environment, in the neighborhood, at school. I would be able to be the person who's making the loudest noise to survive. Because after all, if you're too quiet, you're considered to be a sissy. You're considered to be too softy. You don't want to be called a softy in Eastlands. You wouldn't make it. Now, in trying to make it and be tough, I became the trouble in my neighborhood. The trouble for my family. So that every day, or any day, that the door of our house was knocked after 7:30, my siblings will be, "Josiah Umedu, what have you done?" It's either I was breaking a glass, I was breaking a window, these things were just getting spoiled. But it was in the fun of trying to be a kid, just trying to enjoy the environment. Life was good. But in the process, my parents were getting sad. I could see it in their eyes, and I see they are not happy. These reports are not good. So what I noticed is that they enjoyed the kids who are performing well in school. So in my ujanja, I was like, that's a good one. So in school, I would be smart, but at home, I'll do my ujanja. Fast forward, I'm in class 8. And at class 8 now, I'm preparing for exams, and I tell my father, Dad, you know, I want to go to this school. I would call it Natulenge Jew. And my dad was like, that's good. I know you'll make it. In terms of academics, check. Josiah will do it. In terms of my background, because they used to have a scholarship, my background, check. So I knew that one I would get it. But on my final day of exams, I come back home and I see a blazer. This blazer was not the one for Natulenge Jew, Starehe Boys Center. It wasn't. It was for Ofafa Jericho High School. Two of my brothers were in this school, and I used to look at the school and I was like, I don't like this school. It's not going to help me pass. It's not going to take me to the place where I want to go. Then I figured, now what will I do? I have to be smart about it. Fortunately or unfortunately, the day I reported to school, on day one, the discipline master, Mr. Makumi, he singled me out from the many boys who in fact were wondering, Josiah, what have you come to do here? You ought not to be here, because I had done so well that I had performed in my zone so well. In fact, I was second in my zone and the best in my school. It's like, what are you doing in this school? You ought to be somewhere else. But Mr. Makumi told me that I already have an eye on you. This was actually more like a threat. Now, this school was known to be very friendly, very filled with caning. The discipline part was good. And me and discipline, we had a complicated relationship. Things were not going on very well. So at this point, I discovered I'll be able to find my way around the school, to do what I always do to do in the other school, but don't get caught. But anyway, every day walking, looking over my shoulders, was wearing me down, because I was not having the fun I was getting as usual. So I decided that now, in this school and what was happening, I'll try to do my mischief under the radar, not to be found. But on this particular day, I am busy doing my usual things. And Mr. Makumi comes and finds me in the middle of the act. I got a beating. I got a thrashing. The one that the snake in the Garden of Eden ought to have gotten. I was embarrassed because my friends were thinking, Josiah, we thought you were. What has happened? And I was feeling embarrassed and in pain. But on this particular time, he told me, Josiah, I told you I have an eye on you. Now, I can see these energies you have. I want us to fix it. We will fix it. And after you fixed it, I want you to come back and help your brothers. Now I'm thinking, the pain is too much but what is the we? Who is the we? For the first time, I started pondering on a very small article, the we, because no one had ever told me we. In my Eastlands, trying to survive the background I was in, I was always trying to to run away from, just to be myself, the me, myself, and I. But here there's someone who's telling me there's a we. And he told me, from today hence, I want you to be reporting to me every day. Report to me what you're doing in class. Report to me what you're doing outside class. And if I'm not going to be there, I want you to report to the other teachers, whom I'm going to tell you which teacher. Seriously, my life was taking a U-turn. And it is a U-turn that I did not like. For the first time, I am being told to go and report. And every day I would report. I started seeing that this Mr. Makumi was not just a teacher. He was a friend. He understood that my background was the reason why my behavior was the way it was. For the first time, I started looking forward to go and meet teachers, because there was no more caning anymore, but it was an opportunity for me to go and learn. He taught me many things alongside other teachers. But in the teaching, I would always see one thing that is standard in all their offices: books. And there's one book that always stood out, the Bible. Every office, every place I went, there was a Bible. So I figured, to survive here with Mr. Makumi, who's already trying to be my friend, and my dad, who's already a judge, jury, executioner, who's decided that I'm going to go to this school, let me follow suit. As I thought about Mr. Makumi, and I thought about the things they were telling me, and I kept thinking about the we, I was kept awake through the night. Through the night, because I was awake, I indulged in books, reading my books. The more I read my books, the more I performed well in school. The more I performed well in school, my behavior became better. As my behavior became better, everyone was clapping for me for the first time. It's no longer, Josiah Umedu, but Josiah, you are doing great. I felt like now I'm being a man without necessarily being the mischief. When I finished my Form 4, I did so well that to this date, that school, me and my friends, our names are written somewhere in the walls of our performance. If I went back today to my 13-year-old self and I told Josiah that today you'll be standing in front of people, talking to them, today you'll be able to have come back from your background and pull through, and today you have a we, I'll be like, you are high on drugs. Today, I look at the many youth in our society. Their background, they are basically trying to man up. They are basically trying just to be the best they can be to survive the environment. That's where I was. But the problem is we have labeled them in boxes. A thief, a poor boy, a lost boy, old boy. As in, there's just all these things that we've labeled them that it stops us from listening to these boys and girls. The question I have today is, who is the we in your life? Who are you standing with today to help them to realize that despite your background, I am here with you? I give a salute to my dad, the late Mzee Joseph Owiti. He saw that his son can go places. He saw that I can become somebody. And he saw that once I sort out that part of him, he'll be a good person. I salute Mr. Makumi, who stood by me all through the 4 years, and not him alone, alongside many other teachers. Today, I am honored to be an editor of a Mombasa magazine, because I believe again, I am coming back to help my brothers. They are doing what they are doing, trying to survive the environment. And I am here to help them to see that despite your background, you are a somebody. Despite your pain, you are a somebody. Despite the things you are going through, we are standing together. Who is the we in your life? Thank you.